Hello and welcome back. I'm Archer, and in today's lesson we're focusing on creativity in IELTS Speaking Part 3. You'll listen to a mock interview where Jessica asks questions and Joseph gives model responses. After the interview, we'll go over Joseph's responses one by one, exploring the content of his answers and highlighting useful vocabulary and expressions that make his responses strong and clear. Let's get started and listen to the mock interview.
Do you think creativity is more important in the arts or in science?
I'd say creativity is equally important in both, but it shows up differently. In the arts, it's about expressing emotions or offering fresh perspectives through things like music, film, or painting. In science, creativity is more about innovation and problem solving. For instance, designing experiments or finding novel ways to cure diseases. You can't have groundbreaking discoveries without some level of imaginative thinking. The end product may look different, but the underlying creative process is what drives progress in both areas. So, in my opinion, it's not a matter of which is more important, but how creativity is applied.
How important is creativity in education?
I think creativity is fundamental in education because it shapes how students engage with learning. If schools only emphasize memorization, students may do well on tests but struggle in real life situations. By contrast, when children are encouraged to think creatively, they learn to question ideas, make connections across subjects, and come up with their own solutions. For example, project-based learning often leads to deeper understanding than just memorizing formulas. Without creativity, education risks becoming a rigid system that doesn't prepare students for the complexities of the modern world. In short, creativity makes learning both more enjoyable and more relevant.
Should children focus more on developing creativity or learning skills for their future careers?
I think it's a false choice. Children should really be developing both at the same time. Career-oriented skills give them practical tools, but creativity ensures they can adapt and stay relevant when the job market changes. For instance, many jobs that exist today, like app development or social media management, didn't exist 20 years ago. Without creativity, people might be stuck with outdated skills. So while technical training is useful, nurturing imagination prepares children for jobs that may not even exist yet. I'd say the balance between the two is what creates the most successful professionals.
Do you think creativity is more important than technical skills in the modern world?
In my opinion, neither stands alone. They're interdependent. Technical skills are like the tools, while creativity is the vision that guides how to use them. For example, a web developer needs coding skills to build a site, but they also need creativity to design a user-friendly interface. With automation and AI taking over repetitive tasks, creativity is becoming a key differentiator for humans. At the same time, creativity without the ability to execute often remains just an idea. So, in today's world, true innovation comes from combining the two.
How can schools and teachers encourage students to be more creative?
I think the key is to move away from a one right answer approach. Teachers should design open-ended assignments that allow students to experiment and even fail without being punished for it. For example, instead of asking for a standard essay, students could be asked to present an idea through a video, a model, or a performance. Schools should also integrate the arts into core subjects like math and science, so students see how different fields are connected. Creating a safe, supportive environment is essential, because fear of failure is one of the biggest killers of creativity. With these methods, students are more likely to take risks and think outside the box.
Do you think creative people are born talented, or can creativity be developed through practice?
I'd say some people are naturally imaginative, but creativity can definitely be developed. It's similar to physical fitness. Some are naturally athletic, but anyone can improve with regular exercise. Likewise, creativity grows when people practice brainstorming, explore new experiences, or look at problems from different angles. For instance, someone who travels widely or reads across genres tends to develop a more creative outlook. So while natural talent might provide a head start, it's really the environment and persistence that shape long-term creativity. In that sense, I see creativity more as a skill than a gift.
Do you think technology helps or harms creativity?
Technology is a double-edged sword when it comes to creativity. On one hand, it offers powerful tools, for example, digital art software, video editing platforms, or even AI that allow people to create things that were once impossible. It also connects people globally, which can spark collaboration and new ideas. On the other hand, if people over-rely on templates or get distracted by endless online content, originality might suffer. Personally, I think it helps more than it harms, but only if people use it mindfully as a tool rather than a crutch. In other words, technology can amplify creativity, but it shouldn't replace it.
Do you think creativity is generated more easily when there is no stress?
That's a tricky question because stress affects people differently. In general, a relaxed environment is more conducive to creativity since people feel free to take risks and explore ideas. For instance, many writers say their best ideas come when they're in a calm state of mind. However, a small amount of pressure, like a deadline or competition, can also push people to think outside the box. Too much stress, of course, kills creativity because it leads to anxiety and burnout. So I'd say creativity flourishes best in low stress situations, but a little challenge can sometimes be beneficial.
What kinds of creative jobs are popular in your country?
In my country, creative jobs have really expanded beyond the traditional arts. Of course, we still have painters, musicians, and writers, but there's a huge demand for careers that blend creativity with technology. For example, graphic design, website and app design, and digital marketing are booming fields. Content creation on platforms like YouTube or TikTok has also become a career path for many young people. Even in business, roles like branding or product design require a lot of original thinking. I think this trend reflects how creativity has become central to almost every industry.
How do creative people contribute to the development of society?
Creative people are often the driving force behind progress. They inspire others, challenge the status quo, and come up with solutions to problems that others might not see. For example, inventors have created technologies that improve our daily lives, while artists often highlight social issues and push for change. Creativity isn't limited to art. It's equally present in science, business, and policy making. Without it, societies would probably become stagnant and resistant to innovation. So in many ways, creative thinkers shape not only culture, but also the future direction of the whole community.
Now that we've listened to Joseph's responses, let's examine them more closely. We'll look at the content of each answer, how ideas are expressed, and the vocabulary and phrases that make his answers effective and easy to understand. In the first question about creativity in the arts versus science, Joseph gives a clear opinion and contrasts the two fields. He explains that in the arts, creativity is about expression and originality, while in science it drives problem-solving and innovation. Using the phrase groundbreaking discoveries adds precision and makes the answer sound sophisticated. For the question on creativity in education, Joseph emphasises that it is essential across all subjects, not just in art. He explains that creative thinking helps students connect ideas and solve problems, and he points out that without creativity, education risks becoming rote memorization. This shows how he supports his opinion with reasoning and examples. When asked whether children should focus on creativity or career skills, Joseph avoids treating it as an either-or choice. He explains that both are important and gives a future-oriented example, highlighting that creativity prepares children for jobs that don't exist yet. This approach makes the answer relevant and insightful. In the question about creativity versus technical skills, Joseph uses a strong analogy. Technical skills are the tools, while creativity is the vision. He also references how automation and AI take over routine tasks, emphasizing that creative thinking is what differentiates humans in the modern world. For the question about how schools can encourage creativity, Joseph provides practical strategies. He mentions open-ended projects, group work, and creating a safe environment where failure is not punished. These examples show actionable ways to nurture creativity in education. When asked whether creative people are born or developed, Joseph explained that creativity can be cultivated through practice. He uses the analogy of physical fitness to illustrate his point, showing that even if someone has natural talent, everyone can improve through practice and new experiences. On the topic of technology, Joseph balances both sides. He explains that technology provides tools and inspiration, but over-reliance can stifle originality. He concludes that when used thoughtfully, technology supports rather than harms creativity. Regarding stress, Joseph points out that a relaxed mind is usually more open to ideas. However, a small amount of pressure can sometimes spark innovation. This shows his balanced perspective and adds depth to the answer. In the question about popular creative jobs, Joseph highlights both traditional roles like painting and music, and modern digital jobs such as website and app design or content creation for social media. This demonstrates awareness of current trends and keeps the answer relevant. Finally, on how creative people contribute to society, Joseph explains that they drive progress, challenge the status quo, and inspire others. Using words like stagnate and status quo, add sophistication and precision, making this a strong concluding answer. Overall, Joseph's responses consistently follow a clear structure. He gives an opinion, supports it with reasons, and provides examples or analogies. This approach makes each answer fully developed, fluent, and strong. Exactly what examiners look for in Part 3. Alright, that wraps up today's lesson on creativity in Part 3. Listening to Joseph's responses, you can see how clear ideas and precise vocabulary make answers strong and easy to follow. Now it's your turn. Take these questions, practice expressing your ideas clearly, and try using some of the vocabulary we highlighted today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more IELTS lessons.